Good evening and welcome to Monday night. It is DJNTV night. Scott, are you excited?
Woohoo! Ready to party. Let's go.
You know, that just isn't the same without the spin. I'm just going to say it out loud.
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
I came prepared. See? Woo!
Nice. Yes. That means the party's ready to happen. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever met Scott Faver, you know when the spin happens, it's time for serious stuff to happen. Education, trade. Right on. It's going to be coming down in heavy chunks tonight. Heavy chunks. Maybe, no, that's not a good visual image for this, is it, Scott?
No, that's okay. You're doing fine, John. You know, I'm the first in. Got to warm the audience up, get them all revved up and ready to go.
Get them.
Which, by the way, it's a perfect segue for what we're going to be talking about tonight, because, in fact, it is all about
building the perfect event.
See, I waited for you. There it is.
That is what tonight's about. That we've got a great lineup tonight that's going to be sharing some of their ideas and their tips to putting together an event and not missing some of the things that can make it an awesome event. And we're going to start off with the one and only Scott Faver. Scott, are you ready to roll, my friend?
I am. You know, I was ready at 3 o'clock this morning, the time that my day starts.
The irony of that is I think at 5 this morning I was up and I was thinking, gosh, I wonder what time Scott gets up. Did he think I got up earlier than Scott? No, I guess I didn't. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let Scott take it. Scott, it's all yours, my friend.
Thank you so much, John. Always a pleasure to be here with the Disc Jockey News and your TV channel and help DJs to build and grow their business to do something better. My mantra is always, if you've ever seen me at a convention or a show, that personal development always precedes business development. So the audience that's listening to this, you're in the right place, because you're now going to take on this personal development that is going to benefit your business in the next 3 to 6 months if you put it into action. And I hope that some of the ideas that I share with you will inspire you to do just that. So I want to talk about this idea of building the perfect event. I understand as DJs, wiki, we're all mixing music. I mean, that's what we do, right? You know, we blend the music from one song to the next. The beat goes boom, bump, that's this song, and then boom, bump, the next song, and the audience stays on the dance floor. And what I just can't understand is why we don't, as DJs, entertainers, professionals, recognize that we can do the same with the activities at our event. That you could actually have a beginning, a middle, and a segue instead of just a beginning, a middle, and an end. See, it's the beginning, middle, and an end of a moment that actually causes the audience to get bored. It causes them to lose interest or possibly to leave early because they think, oh, this thing is over because this moment is over. So it's the segue, it's the transition, it's the movement from one moment to the next that can actually keep your audience engaged, entertained, and either in their seats paying attention or on the dance floor with whatever it is that you're doing. And that's not necessarily dance music, because these days and ages, you know, they're dance parties, great. Sometimes they're not dance parties, but you can still entertain them as a DJ. So it's how you move from one moment to the next that will allow you to create this sense of beginning, middle, and a segue. And I also like to talk about timing, because I think that's really important. So often you'll have a timeline, or if you're really fancy, you'll have a schedule, or if you're really, really on top of it, you'll actually have a complete script that tells you exactly what's going to happen. And the script is not just, well, we're having an introduction at 6 o'clock. And then at 6:15, we're going to do the first dance. And then at 6:20, we're going to do this thing. Because that's really just a timeline. But a script talks about each and every element of that moment. In other words, what is the music? What is the tone? What is the timbre of the moment? What does the lighting look like? What is the choreography of the moment? Not just dancing, but in fact, are they walking in? Where do they stand? Where do they go? Do they stand in this place for a moment, and then when the next person comes in, they move so that the next person can replace where they were standing? Or are they creating some kind of a figure, like a lineup or a soccer theme where you've got people on the left and the right, and they're coming down the middle? I mean, there's a whole myriad of things that are going on. And a lot of this relates to timing. So I always let couples know that the plan is that we're going to do A, B, and C, but not necessarily in that order. We may actually do B, C, and then A. Perfect example. It's time for the toast, but the best man's not ready because he's split his trousers and he's in the men's room and he's getting them all sewn up or something. I don't know, but he's not ready, or he's spilt red wine all over his white shirt and we're looking for a replacement before he gets in front of the camera. But that's okay. We don't have to let the audience know that we're waiting for the best man. We simply move into the next moment. And then when the best man's ready, we move into toasting, or we change the lineup. Now, the lineup is that the best man is going to toast, and then the maid of honor, and then the father of the bride, and the father of the groom. Okay, so maybe we're going to do the dads first, and then we'll get to the best man and the maid of honor. All those things are flexible, and this timing note really puts it into perspective, that all times are tentative, and that they're subject to the change on the day of the event to accommodate the client, their vendors, and the guests' needs. Ultimately, we will work closely with everyone to make sure that all planned, and by the way, see that unplanned? That's the secret thing there. You know, you might have a surprise. I'll talk about that in a moment. But even unplanned events are going to happen in a timely manner that ensures a successful celebration. And that's all about the ebb and flow of a perfectly built event. And that's what we're talking about today. Let's start by doing something different. And by the way, I do this at weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, bar mitzvahs, quinceañeras, all of them. It's what I refer to as the red carpet effect. Go to Home Depot or some carpet place and get yourself a 15, 20-foot red carpet, you know, just a runner, if you will, and set up some stanchions if you want to get really fancy, and then get the photographer or you, got some background music playing in the main room. You don't need to be there. Let that music do its thing, and you're going to snap some pictures of the guests on the red carpet as they arrive. You want to get really fancy, get the videographer involved, and they'll actually video you interviewing them as if they are actually at the Academy Awards. Only in this case, the Academy Awards, the Oscars, is Bob and Betty's wedding. And you're going to interview the parents and the guests. You don't even need to know them. You just have to have a gift for gab. And all these pictures and this video content, you can now show on the big screen when they transfer into the main room. And it's a big, wow, look, that's us on the red carpet. That just happened, that kind of thing. Okay, let me give you an example of what is common in terms of weddings. You'll have an introduction, and then they'll have their first dance. And that is a really good example of a beginning, a middle, and a segue, because you've actually moved from one moment, the introduction, to their first dance. But what happens a lot of times is then it falls apart. They have their dance, it's just for the two of them, and then they got to go to the table, and then you got to go do the next piece of whatever's part of the puzzle, whether it's the prayer or the toast. But let's expand. Let's do more than just a 2-song mix, maybe a 3 or 4-song mix. So you do the introduction, they come into the room, they have their dance, and you have everybody on the dance floor in a big circle, and the couple's in the middle. Why not have the pastor or the father, whoever is doing the prayer, join the couple at the end of the dance, right then and there, everybody arm in arm, and let us pray. And now you've got this really intimate moment where the entire audience, instead of them sitting at their tables, maybe or maybe not paying attention, they're talking about, the latest sports game, forget that. They are in the moment with the couple. They were excited about the entrance, a lot of fanfare. They got, oh, wow, look at them dancing moment. And now we're going to pray. And it brings it all together. You can extend this if the toast is going to happen right then and there by having the wait staff passing champagne glasses during the first dance as they're in their circle. I mean, there's a variety of options. It all depends on what your catering staff and your couple are open to do. So these are ideas. Take what you like. It's a buffet. Take what you like. Leave the rest behind. I have this thing that I refer to as be our guest. I can't tell you how many times the wait staff, they've got these big round trays with salad plates on them, and they come walking in the room. They put these trays down on these X stands or jack stands, whatever you want to call them. And then they start passing the salad to the tables. Hold on a second. Hey, man, it's boring. Come on, let's entertain them. Okay? So if you can encourage the wait staff, coordinate with them, let's have a salad parade. And the salad parade means that they're going to take those trays, and 4 or 5 of their members of the wait staff with those trays that they're bringing in anyway are now going to parade into the room, walk around the room, and then they can put them on the stands and pass out the salads. But it's far more dramatic. And of course, you can play something like be our guest, put our service to the desk, and have some fun with it. Or do something special specifically for your guest of honor, whether it's a couple that's getting married or an anniversary couple or a birthday person, and have someone who is important to them, not mom or dad, by the way, not the best man or the maid of honor. They already have plenty to do, but someone else who's like me, outgoing, right, vivacious, and have them deliver 2 plates. He will deliver a plate for her, and she will deliver a plate for him, and it becomes a fanfare thing. Again, you play Be Our Guest. You talk about how they should be treated like royalty. It's a huge, huge win. So those are some ideas that start the entertainment early and help you to build on this event. Because if you're waiting until after dinner to entertain your guests, they're already gone because you've already lost their attention. You need to let them know immediately, like right at the beginning, this is not going to be like any other wedding that you've been to. This is something different. You're going to be entertained. We're going to engage with you. We're going to make sure that you have an exceptional experience at this event. And it doesn't have to be all pomp and circumstance and fanfare. You can do something very elegant by simply escorting tables to the buffet. It's no big deal. You have the head table go first or the guest of honor table go first. And then when you want to invite the other tables to the buffet, it's easy. You just go to the table that's next and you say, ladies and gentlemen, please follow me. And then you escort them to the buffet, which, by the way, can be helpful sometimes because they never know which side to start on or where the plates are and all that stuff. And this allows you to regulate the buffet. You know what's important when I take off my glasses. So I'm going to take off my glasses, and for all those DJs in the world, God love you. If you think that inviting people to the buffet is not your job, that's fine. I'm not going to be offended. I will disagree, but I will not be offended. My position is entertainment, entertainment, entertainment. And it's not just about playing good music or playing music that's mixed well. It is about engaging the audience and escorting them to the buffet, as far as I'm concerned, is a win-win. Something else that you might want to do that, again, starts the entertainment early is this thing I refer to as the paparazzi. As you're going around to the tables and inviting them to dinner or asking them if they have any special song requests, whatever your process is for engaging with the audience, let them know that anyone with one of these, a cell phone, right, camera phone, you are now part of the paparazzi. And sometime during dinner, we're going to announce that the paparazzi have crashed Bob and Betty's wedding. And in that moment, everyone with a cell phone and a camera is going to rush to Bob and Betty and start snapping pictures of them like they're movie stars. It is a huge wow. It is very ingratiating. It's very flattering to the couple. It is a surprise. They have no idea this is going to happen. And trust me, it works. And that includes what I call surprise videos. Randy Bartlett might disagree with me. He might say, never surprised the couple. Okay. But for me, my entertainment style is about surprising them in wonderful ways. Not embarrassing, not shaming, not making them feel uncomfortable. And all of the surprise things that I plan are, in fact, based upon how they've answered other questions. Without tipping my hand to let them know that I might do the paparazzi, I might ask them another kind of a question that lets me know that they're shy, they're outgoing, they want to have fun, that they're okay with surprises or not. And all of that helps me to then formulate what is going to allow me to build the perfect event. Surprise videos can be something that somebody does from their phone, or from a real, video camera, depending on how fancy they are. And it's, sorry we couldn't be there. We love you. The check's in the mail. Have a great time. Or it might even be something that you did that day. She's getting ready. He's outside. So you pick up your camera and you walk over and you say, Bob, you excited about today? And you're rolling. And he says, I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm thrilled. I've waited for, and she's the one. And you got this all on video. And then sometimes during dinner, you roll this video. Betty, Bob had something special he wanted to say. Boom. Or you get it from her, or even from both of them separately at different times. And it's huge. And it's something you can do on the fly that day. If you want to plan it in advance, that's a bonus, but it's not a requisite. Now, parent dances. How are you blending this moment for parent dances? How are you moving from wherever you were to the dance and then into the next moment? Where is your beginning, middle, and segue for something like this? Some ideas include inviting other parents to join in. So instead of it just being father and daughter, you're going to invite other fathers and daughters to join in. Maybe what's going to happen instead is that the couple is going to pick one song that they're both going to share with their parents. And so she starts with dad, and then groom and his mom join in. And then we invite fathers and daughters and mothers and sons to join in. And so we've done exactly what we want as DJs, which is to fill the dance floor as opposed to removing people. That anniversary dance, I love to remind people that they're always doing it backwards. They start with everybody on the dance floor, and then they invite everyone who's married 1 to 5 years to leave, 5 to 10 years to leave, 10 to 15 years to leave. And all of a sudden you have fewer and fewer and fewer people on the dance floor. And by the way, in case you haven't noticed, that means that the couple who has been married the longest, who's probably the oldest in the room, has to dance the longest to this moment. So instead, turn it upside down. I'm looking for the couple who's been married anywhere from 1 hour to 1 day. Usually that's your couple. They come on the dance floor, they start. Now couples married 1 month to 5 years. And now you start building 5 years to 10 years. And all of a sudden you're snowballing and you're adding people to the dance floor. You can still have them circle around. And when the last couple joins in, you can then talk about what's your, secret to the longevity of your, marriage, and talk with them, and then move into some more dancing, whatever your plan is. But the idea is to have a plan, not just to say, well, we have this first dance, we have this introduction, we have this toast, we have this other thing, we got to cut the cake. Speaking of the cake, have some fun with it. I can't tell you how many times that the couple is cutting the cake in the corner and nobody in the room knows that they're cutting the cake. Why not make sure everybody's there? You got a conga line running around the room. Everybody's having a good time. They're in the conga line. Then they build this little bridge, a little tunnel so that everybody gets to, go underneath. And you have the couple at the very end of this tunnel who's running through, and it ends up right at the cake. And when everybody folds in onto the bridge, they run right into the cake. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show you a video later. But in the meantime, now you've front-ended everybody into the cake. And when they cut the cake, if the cake is over there, well, that's just because the cake is over there. But that doesn't mean that they can't come to the dance floor and serve it. And I'm back.
There you are.
I don't know what you missed.
Cut the cake and circle is where you're up to.
Okay, cut the cake and circle. So, yeah, it says my internet is all of a sudden unstable, like me, so we should get along fine. I'm going to move on, because this idea of old traditions in a new way is really a better solution. I've been noticing on some of the forums, they're talking about the traditions that are in and the things that are out, what they used to do that they're no longer doing. this totally reminds me of that concept about the YMCA, that the couple says, I don't want to do the YMCA. And the truth is, it's not that they don't want to do it. It's just that they've seen it done so poorly, so badly, so many times by DJs who didn't know what they were doing, that they just don't want that, train wreck at their wedding day. When the truth is, if you have a clever idea, it can make a difference. I'll give you the bashful garter, for example. I've got this one couple. They are like me, outgoing. They're like, woohoo, let's do whatever you want. Let's have fun. And so we do. And we've got this crazy thing that we're going to do with the garter, where he takes it off and he's down on his knees and he's underneath her dress and it comes out in his mouth and all this other crazy thing going on. And then I have this couple who's at the wedding who loves me and hires me for their wedding, but they are super shy. And they said, we love everything you did, but we are not doing that garter business. And I said, okay, but how about if we do something different? And they said, like what? See? And by the way, that's the true sign that you know that you have their trust. If they say, no, thank you, you don't have their trust. If they say, like what, then you know you have their trust. And if they say, we trust you, Scott, do something, then you know you've got them. But for this couple, I have an idea. And the idea is simple, that he's going to get down on one knee. She's sitting in the chair. He's about to reach under her gown. And then his mother-in-law taps him on the shoulder and says, no, 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 you're not doing this. And then she reaches and hands him a garter. And that's the moment. So he doesn't have to take it off and he still gets to toss it. And there are other things that you can do with the garter and the bouquet at the same time that allow for new traditions to overtake the old traditions. Instead of tossing the garter and the bouquet, toss a bouquet of glow sticks and follow it up with a dance song. Have the couple stand back to back, right? So one's going to toss this way and the other one's going to toss that way. And you have everybody lined up, ready to go. And on three, you toss. And instead of having two tosses and a garter removal and all this other stuff, you just have one. You're one and done. And in that moment that you have everybody lined up, it's perfect because now you're going to start a soul train. Or maybe you're going to have everybody on this side point to the person who's in front of you because you got two lines. They point, right? And the person in front of you is your partner for this dance, regardless of gender, and play some non-gender specific, like twist and shout song or something. So they don't necessarily have to dance together. Just all kinds of different ideas that allow you to do something different that moves the audience. I have this thing I call Spark. And I was listening to Mike Walter the other day, and he said something really interesting. He talked about that he always gets out and teaches people, whatever the dance thing is, whether it's the Cupid Shuffle or the electric slide, he's out there and he's doing that stuff. And I think that's great. I'm a little bit more mature, so I may not stay for the entire song, but once I've got it started, that's the spark, then I may back off and let the audience be the star. I don't necessarily need to be in front of the audience for the entire, 3-4 minute song. But that said and done, some audiences, like Mike Walter said, later in the evening, I may not do that. I may, it's already going, the party's happening, and so I don't necessarily have to work that hard to continue to spark the room. But just keep in mind that you need to have a variety of different sparks in your toolbox, because what happens is you could spark the audience, they all come to the dance floor, they're all having a great time for this one moment that you've created, and then they sit down. It's like you took a wrong turn. And I swear, the song that I played after the song that they were all dancing to was just as good, but they just didn't think so. So keep in mind that you may need to spark the audience all night long or a couple of times as the case is needed. But don't just rest on your laurels because you got the party going and think that it's going to continue to go. They may need, if they slow down, another spark. Okay, I want to talk to you about this exit. And it's a great way for me to end our last 2 minutes, because most people think of the exit as the end, but it can actually be the beginning of something new, something that transitions see, because that's what we're talking about, that moves you from this moment, the exit, right? Sparklers, whatever, to another moment. Maybe you're going to transition from old wedding music into club, fill in the couple's name. So it's Club Bonnie and Clyde, or it's Club Nouveau, whatever it is. And the music changes. The lighting changes. There might be a costume change. And by the way, a costume change is not just for the bride and groom. Sometimes at events, I will actually have 2 or 3 different blazers. I have a generic set of pants and shirt, and then I'll change a different color jacket so that it all of a sudden it looks like I've changed costume. I've got red, I got purple, I got black, I got blue, and all of a sudden, oh, he's wearing something different. Same thing underneath, but they can't tell. It looks like I had a costume change or something flashy. So that they understand that this is not actually the end. It's like a butterfly that's a metamorphosis into something new, something different, something beautiful. And use the moment, if you have to have something that moves them from the exit where they think everything is over, that they know that there's going to be a party moving on when they come back in, by not just telling them, but by showing them. And so maybe the couple, when they exit, are now going to be the leaders for a conga line back into the room that sparks the party again. All of these are ideas that I think will help you as professional DJs to build the perfect event. Hey, John, that was pretty good. I was like, right.
That was good.
Right on time.
That was excellent. That was excellent. Let me turn this up a little bit. Boy, Scott, folks are really loving the information and such, getting a lot of great comments. And thank you guys for being with tonight. We got a great group. And of course, the one and only Scott Faver kicking us off with our Building the Perfect event tonight. So, Scott, thanks, man. I appreciate you being on there. And you were saying that you wanted to come and play in our world quite a few times in 2022. That would be awesome. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to doing more things with you next year, my friend. Right now, we got a boogie on because we're going to be coming back. We're going to actually switch the schedule. And we're going to put Jason Jani next, then Bill Hermann, then coming back with Jordan Marshall this evening. So for those of you who are looking at it and saying, where is Jordan? He'll be in the last slot tonight. So we're going to get on with that. Scott, once again, my friend, thank you for being with.
Thank you so much, John. Carry on, brother.
Turn on closed captioning. Yeah. Sorry about that. I don't know where the audio is going. I'll make it short. Tonight's show is sponsored. Of course, we have our sponsors that are down below. Those are part of who makes this happen. And Mike, you're probably calling to say that the audio is out, and I'm sorry about that. I got the message just a little bit late. A big part of what we do and what happened tonight is all about our sponsors who brought this to you and our DJNTV insiders out at DJNTVtraining.com. The insiders are a group of folks who just believe in what we do and have really gone and helped financially support all these different things we do. These hosting and different parts of what we do are not cheap. It's a kind of an expensive endeavor, and there's not a ton of money in the industry right now. So they have really stepped up to help sponsor this. So I apologize for the audio thing. I didn't realize I didn't have that scene set properly because we had to transition from Scott to this scene. So my bad. I will fix that between. Anyway, thank you guys once again. Thank you to the insiders. Thank you to our sponsors who help bring these to us each and every month as a kind of a free educational night. So we're going to jump into Jason Jani. We're switching the order a little bit, and we'll be back then with Bill Hermann and Jordan Marshall for the rest of our segment. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head off and see Jason Jani next.
What's up, everyone? Jason Jani. New day, new video, new location here on site in the beautiful Baha Mar district in Nassau, Bahamas, getting ready for a week of events that I'm actually be playing at, and I'm also attending an incredibly dope conference out here. Now, today's topic is all about your ideal event and working and developing and building your ideal events. And there's a lot of ways that you can approach this kind of very deep question. Rather than talk about tech, rather than talk about music, let's talk about the things that aid you in getting to that place where you are constantly working and constantly busy doing the things that you love, not the things that cross your paths or that kind of phase of events when you're building your company where you're taking anything and everything just to get your name out there. Let's talk about designing the perfect event from the beginning. I think in order to design the perfect event, whether it be tech, whether it be music, whether it be experience, however you want to drive the road for the people that are trusting you for whatever it is that you're going to be DJing, you need to really think about yourself first. I think you need to look in the mirror and you need to really have that hard conversation. What are you good at? What can you do? What is available in your area? And where do you want to spend your time? Do you want to be a wedding DJ? Do you want to be a club DJ? Do you want to spend your time in radio? Do you want to do crazy corporate events or work with VIP clients in beautiful destinations just like we're at right now? Whatever the path is that you take, and it can be anything, club DJ, bar DJ, trivia DJ, you name it, karaoke DJ, video DJ, whatever. I think you need to figure out where you want to go in order to kind of drive the ship into the port where you will be landing and spending all of your time. In order to design the perfect event, you need to think about how you want to be the captain of your very own ship because that's what you have control over. What are you really good at? What exists in the area that you live at or that you live within or at least is around the surrounding areas of where you are located? It doesn't make sense that you want to do venues like this if you are afraid to take a plane outside of your local area. If you're in the middle of the United States, it might be more challenging to find urban situations and large nightclubs if you are outside of a metropolitan city. Here's the point. I think in order to figure out your ideal client, your ideal event, your ideal everything, you need to figure out where you want to spend your time, what you're good at, where do you differentiate yourself from others that do exactly what you do in your area, and where do you really enjoy being? Is it weddings? Is it corporate? Is it industry events? Whatever. You know, I've gone through this exercise a number of times over my career doing this as a DJ, and I think it's really, really, really enlightening, and it also changes over time. It's something that you really need to think about every year and a half. You need to think about, where are you being booked? What are you being asked to do? And is it truly what you want to do with yourself? Now, I do a lot of production-based boutique wedding events in a lot of beautiful places. I also do a lot of industry-style events, conference events, corporate events. And I like to dabble in the nightlife world and even the radio world. I like to do the radio and nightlife because I believe that that experience keeps me on my toes as a DJ. That's an artistry thing, and that fuels my private events. The first thing on my kind of pyramid scale in terms of where I want to spend my time, the top of that scale is wedding entertainment. I love being home. I love traveling around. I love helping people celebrate life. Shout out to Marcello for that. Now, in order to get there, I understand that I need to be fresh on music. I need to be in line with the latest trends. I need to have the coolest widgets and gadgets working at my events. And I also have to have positive relationships at these beautiful places that are around me for where I live. Talking about location specific, is your ideal event one specific venue or a group of venues? If you live in an area like I do in New Jersey, there is 40, 50, 60 venues within a 40-mile radius of where I personally live. Of that 40 venue number in that radius, there's probably 5 to 10 that I really, really enjoy. So those are a target. They allow me to flex a little bit. They allow me to bring in production elements. They attract couples that fit the style of events that are looking to have someone like me part of. When you figure out your path, I think the rest of it becomes a little bit easier. Once you figure out, hey, I want to focus on weddings, but I also want to do these other things, but I want to focus on weddings, then you will start communicating that out to the world, and that will set you on your course. It'll kind of drive the ship into the port in terms of where you're going. Now, it might not happen overnight, but it'll come over time as long as you're consistent with it. The key is consistency. See, once you know where you're headed, you can plan, you can market, you can create content to kind of touch those that fall in line with whatever it is that you're looking to do. In my case, there's a group of properties that I absolutely adore working at. I love working at them. They are always a fun time. The staff is dope. The places are pretty. The couples are always amazing. And they might have small weddings, but others might have tremendously large weddings and everywhere in between. I like having variety. That's important to me. I don't like to do the same thing over and over again. That's important to me. I like to work with couples that are interested in creating something that is really, really powerful. That is important to me. Now, once you figure out kind of where you want to spend your time, for me, it's weddings, then it's probably corporate and nightlife, then it's probably remix and radio work. That's kind of like my pecking order, so to speak, of where I want to spend my personal time. Targeting the wedding client is really all that I do because I believe the other avenues are a byproduct of just generating traction and doing a good job and being consistent targeting that wedding space. Once you figure out the type of event you want to do, then you have to take it a step further. You have to think about all the people that call you for events, all the people that PM you for events, all the people that hit you up on social media for their events. And you need to think a little bit harder about how do you attract more of those people. Birds in a feather flock together, but not every crew has a tribe that is in the same state. Although it is likely, it's not always what it is. So you have to think about who your ideal client is, and that's step 2 in this overall process. You identify where you want to go, then you figure out who it is that's planning those events, who it is that's making those decisions, who it is that's going to hire you, and then you start developing a plan of attack, a strategic plan of attack on how you're going to market, who you're going to speak to, what you're looking to do, so forth and so on. Once you start really breaking this all apart, that end goal of getting to where you want to be may shift a little bit. Now, when you think about your couples, are they a certain age group, age range? Are they a certain background? Are they into one specific kind of thing generally? Are they into club music? Are they into hip hop? Are they into fashion? Where do they go and eat? What bars do they go to? What clubs do they go to? What music is kind of like on their radar when they're in their car driving to work, if they're doing that these days? Once you come up with this kind of ideal client profile, then you really can take it to the next level of building your business. You actually can start targeting this universe of people with the content you have created for the types of events that you want to do, and really take it from there. It's a really, really powerful thing to be able to kind of create this lifestyle and live this lifestyle, especially if you're someone that's looking to kind of take this on and make it a career and do this full time. There's a lot of people that do it on the side, and there's no problem with that. This same kind of thought process, this same methodology can apply to anyone and everyone. If you're a club DJ looking to take your club game to the next level, what are you going to do? You're going to go out and you're going to kind of mix and mingle and network with other DJs that are in the game. You're going to try to connect to the management, to the decision makers, the promoters of that club, of that bar, maybe the owner, maybe a bartender. You're going to go and you're going to start making relationships, because everything in the DJ space is relationship driven. Doesn't matter your path. If you want to do proms, you're going to have to court and think through and come up with business practices to target the people that are in the student body government, as well as maybe the sponsor of the class. Those are just the people that basically are the ones that are making the decisions that will get you to the next phase. That's really where all this goes. In order to get to where you want to go, in order to design the perfect event, in order to spend your time doing exactly what it is that you want to do, you need to think about things at a big level from the beginning. Where do you want to work? What type of work do you want to do? And who is the ideal couple? Who is that ideal client? Who is that person that's going to sign that contract and send you a deposit to reserve your services? Once you can figure out those three things, then the path to get to the end in mind, becomes a lot easier, a lot brighter, and a lot more enjoyable. It almost becomes like a game, and I don't mean to make light of it, but you're going to try things that are going to work and connect. You're going to try things, and they are going to fail, and they are going to fail miserably. But it's part of the process of learning, of growing, and as technology, social media, music, and opportunity evolves, changes, and shifts with the seasons, with the years, with the people, then you have fun. You try things, you test things, and you kind of take it from there. There are a lot of creative ways to intertwine exactly what you do and what you want to do in the locations that you want to work at, that you can create to target the people that are either making the decision now or will be making those decisions in the days, weeks, months, or years to come. It's a pretty heavy exercise to do, but if you haven't done this yet, figuring out who it is, where they work, what they do, how they spend their time, where they like to shop, what they're into, where they like to go, I would highly suggest that you do it, because it will get you to places that you've never, ever dreamed before. It'll also make your investment of time, energy, and money, the financials around your social media, around your marketing, around your creating your website, all worthwhile. And it'll make sure that you're not spending money and flushing money down the toilet because you're not connecting with the people that actually are interested or could be interested in what you do. While I'm on the topic of social media, I think it is so important in this same conversation to talk about a refresh, to talk about a relook, and to analyze the content that you have online. If there's stuff that doesn't really play well, I think you need to scrub it. I think you need to scratch it. I think you need to delete it or archive it. If it doesn't connect to your ideal situation, your ideal circumstance, your path to where you want to go, you need to really seriously think about, does it have a place and a purpose on whatever platform, whatever website, or whatever place people can find it? Because if you don't connect with someone when they are out searching, or they see something that either could be abrasive, that could maybe not connect with them, or doesn't show off what you do in a positive light, it actually may hurt you more than help you. And here's an example. Most wedding clients, people that are booking wedding entertainment, don't want to see a DJ rocking at Sweet 16s. They don't want to see a DJ doing bubble parties. They don't want to see a DJ doing baptisms and communions and leading the hokey pokey on the dance floor. Now, that might be different regionally and around the country, but the point I'm trying to make is couples that are planning weddings want to see DJs that are relevant to their age group or within their parameters within music and the things that you can do, but they also want to see you working at other wedding events. If you are targeting proms and you're showing nightclubs, that would be something that could go hand in hand. But if you're marketing proms and you show yourself on your website or on social media with hula hoops, that might not connect. And this goes for corporate too. To take it another level, corporate, you could show your wedding game is strong, you could show your professionalism is strong, you could show your business is strong, you could show that you play in the nightlife world, which is strong. It may hurt you if the company is more conservative, but I think you understand where I'm going. You have to think about the people that are hiring you, and you need to make sure that all of your social media connects directly with the people that are the decision makers for the events that you want to do when you're on your path to getting to that perfect event. Now, when you get to that perfect event, let's fast forward and say you've done all that stuff and you're killing it and the phone is ringing and you are good to go. The next phase of this is what happens when you get there? How do you design the most perfect event? And I think there's a couple ways that you can do this. First and foremost, if your production capabilities are limited, you can partner up with other professionals in your area. You can team up with other DJs. You can collaborate and create together, which I think is super, super powerful. Now, some of the cool things that we do is we integrate performers and musicians. Now, they don't work directly for me, but I have contract agreements in place for them at my events because it doesn't make sense for me to pay a salary for someone that we're not going to use all of the time. Now, I found a great agency that I work with, and I've worked with them for like 12 years, and that helps that part of the overall problem. But you can take that kind of thought process, and you can apply it to any other vertical or any other offering within the world that we work if you don't have the ability to do the tech and do the tech properly at an event. It's super important that when you're performing at events that you don't do it halfway, that you don't do it and drop the ball. You hire people that are going to deliver, and you're going to invest, and you're going to spend a lot more money than you probably want to, which is going to cause the couples to spend more money than they probably want to, but it will be done right. And there is something to be said in investing in the experience as opposed to cutting some corners, saving some money, and not delivering something that can essentially hurt you, hurt your brand, and hurt all the things that you are capable of doing. That will basically cause waves in that ocean of you getting to where you want to go. Okay, so now we're on site at the event. We have our tech worked out. We have some relationships in place. How else can you create awesome at events? How can you design the perfect event? I personally love to challenge my couples to share with me more about them, to intertwine life experiences into the thing that we're creating for the people that we're working for. And I love doing that because I feel that it's all so uniquely different. We can lean on the past to create for the future, and that's all what this is about. People want to have a fun wedding. They want to have a packed dance floor. They might want services like lighting if it's not available from the venue, or they may love performers or other services that are popular in your area, in your region, in your market, or whatever. Taking the time and investing the time to understand someone's story and then to work with them to lace in personal details about who they are as individuals, as well as a couple, as well as their families, will help you connect to the people that are on site at your events to create incredibly personal, incredibly dope moments in time. And that to me gets me super hyped up because that's exactly what I like to do. Now, I want to stop right there, and I've kind of shared a lot of different things, a lot of different ideas, and I want to kind of like stop for a second, and I want to hear from you. If you have a question, if this isn't connecting, you're confused, if you want to kind of figure out something regarding how to get to your perfect event, how to identify the perfect client, how to figure out what venues are capable of doing all the things that you really, really want to do, I want to hear from you in the comments down below. Just click into that comment box and have at it, and I will do my best to respond to everyone real time or in the future as the comments come in. The end game here is doing things that make you happy. The happier you are, the more enjoyable your life will be, and the better you will be for the people that hire you for their events. It's not just about a paycheck. It's not just about DJing. It's about literally feeling fulfilled, feeling fulfilled, feeling complete, and working within the parameters that fit your life, your abilities, the things that you want to do, in the places that you want to be at, for the people that are perfect for you. And that is going to be different for everyone. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the business. And don't forget that the minute you sacrifice, birds of a feather flock together. The more you sacrifice and take on events that you don't want to do, the more you're going to attract events that you want to do. The more that you cut your contract down just to earn that opportunity, the more times your phone is going to ring with people asking for you to do the same thing you did for someone else for them. I hope you understand that. I hope you feel that. My name is Jason Jani. If you are not subscribed to my personal YouTube channel, I would love to invite you to find me here on this platform and join me there. Jason Jani. I'm dropping videos all the time, sharing real deal experiences, real deal life learnings, and things that I've been through as a DJ business owner, as well as a performer in some really, really beautiful places, working for some incredibly dope people all over this planet. Anyway, I hope you feel me. Thumbs up in the chat. Lots of love for John Young and everyone else. And I look forward to connecting with everyone in the comments down below. Thanks for the watch.
We're back. This is so awesome.
We are.
I'm so excited.
Nice to see you again, buddy.
Excited like birthday cake on my face.
Like
excited.
Birthday cake on your face. Wow.
Yeah. It's almost.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's weird and creepy all at the same time. And you're welcome. Hey, we are back. You guys have seen some really great stuff tonight, starting off with Scott Faver. Then there was that idiot who didn't know how to turn his microphone on. And then Jason Jani. This has been a great night. I'm just saying. Great night.
Wait, I could have left my mic off?
I guess that's what happens when you're not smart enough to turn the mic on.
Is that what happened in the last show? Nobody made comments? My mic was off?
No, that was mine. That was me being super intelligent. So thank you guys for being with a lot of folks from not only the United States, but we've got folks from around the world with us tonight tuning in. So thank you guys very much. If you've seen the DJNTV.com/subscribe link that's been in the chat a couple of times, that is for the new print publication that's going to be coming out in 2020. It's a free publication. Go to DJNTV.com/subscribe, and then you can go sign yourself up and be on that list, because we'll be mailing those out in February. We've got about 25 writers lined up right now, and we're going to be having some great content and a lot of good information that you'll be able to take and utilize in your business or in your life, because we've got some that are going to be dealing with the personal side, keeping our head in the game and keeping our positive attitude going forward.
It's so important right now.
It very much so. Very much so. It's just about as important as ice cream.
Or cake on your face.
Ooh, cake on my face. Ooh, that sounds like fun. Okay, so Bill Hermann, for those of you who have never seen this man before, he did a thing and does stuff, and people, some know him, some people.
You should do all of my introductions.
Yeah, so
you did a thing.
So and Bill and I have known each other for a while, and once upon a time we kind of worked on something together, and I forgot, or I don't remember, or maybe it wasn't that important, and we all forgot about it.
When you were drinking, those years of all the drinking.
It was that time when I was putting an extra ice cube in my water. It was a crazy time. Actually, for those of you who haven't had a chance to hear the Bill Hermann story, we did an episode of our interviews. Was it December 6th? I think it was.
I think so.
Something like that. We did that on a Monday night, and you can go back to our YouTube channel and find that. I did an interview. That was part one of the Bill Hermann experience.
It's part one of the Bill Hermann Won't Stop Talking show.
So, and we got to the point where Bill meets John, and we were getting to the end of the show, and there's no way that show can stop right there. We're not going to wrap that whole show up in what?
And that'll be part two. That's not even part three.
That's part two coming up. So we're going to be doing part two of that of getting the basically This Is Your Life, Bill Hermann. We'll be doing that on December 27th if everything works out well, and Bill doesn't get tickets to fly somewhere for over Christmas break, and then we don't see him again for 10 days, and he gets a tan.
No, who knows?
You never know. These guys from Upper Midwest.
I gotta spend this DJNTV money somehow.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So Bill will be sitting in the Minneapolis bus station, not getting anywhere over Christmas break. It'll be great.
Saving up money to get a ticket to Tucson.
Yeah, exactly. But not for you, only for the postcard.
Right.
That's the only part that's going to Tucson. So, Bill, we're talking about building a perfect event. And I think that if you're a wedding DJ and that's really kind of your angle, and I guess let's kind of start. You spend a lot of time getting to know your couples really before even booking. And I think that's a really important part of your process. Kind of talk a little bit about how do you get to know your couples and make those connections on that beginning side to really lay the foundation.
Well, the number one reason to get to know my couples before even getting a hire is I want to be sure I'm going to be working with someone that wants to collaborate. One of the things I know, and you even know, even those of you that are watching, if you've ever stepped into a room and opened your microphone and even just cleared your throat, you know that in that moment you are now the most powerful person in the room. You have complete control over what is about to happen. And if in fact they want to just give me, if the client just wants to give me their room and just see what I can come up with, I have less success than if I know I'm collaborating with the couple. Because especially in the wedding world, and if we're talking about building the perfect wedding, then the one thing that you need to keep working towards and stay focused on is that this party and what you are doing and what you are saying and what you are playing, every last thing that you create in through the speakers is not about you in any way, shape, or form. And when you know that, now you can refocus everyone's attention, their hearts, their minds around that reason why they came. Now, that actually is, it's usually a good thing on your side, because no one really came to the wedding of Mary and John to watch Bill Hermann while the organ grinder plays. Okay, they're not there to see the Bill Hermann show. They're here to see the John and Mary show. So building that perfect event with them is really more about building something that will remind everyone why they're there in the first place. That'll focus in their hearts and minds on that, and then giving them a story to follow from the moment they arrive until the end of the evening. So meeting those people, finding out the things that are important to them, because if they're having a party at all, They want to share their life with these people. They don't just want to have a bunch of people over for a drunk fest. If they did that, then they wouldn't have to spend so much money. Go up to the local bar and take over. The bar will love you, right? Mm-hmm. But this is now they're inviting all their friends to be a part of this really special day, and to do that and make it so that they keep leaning in. You can't take away from, well, yeah, no, Mary and John are great, but hey, man, I'm about to play a song for you that I think is awesome, right? Or Mary and John are great, but I'm going to do this really great bouquet toss that I think is awesome. So that initial contact gets me to find out whether or not they're in on collaborating on something unique. And unique doesn't, and like Scott Faver was talking about, unique is not necessarily something you haven't seen. Unique is delivering the thing in a way that is unique, right? You can I do bouquet tosses at just about every single solitary wedding. Mm-hmm. Every one. There's very few that I don't. But every one of them is delivered on behalf of the client in such a way that even if I did them the same way, it's now John and Mary's bouquet toss, not the DJ trying to make a thing happen. That's a really important designation for me, especially because I'm not out there just picking up gigs and showing up with my bit and doing it. And if it works, it works, and it doesn't, it doesn't. And even with that, most of the time it does. What I'm promising to these people is that they're going to be represented, not only with my voice, not only with the songs that they choose that I might play for them, but in how I present myself. Everything I should say ought to be sounding like it's coming out of them. Mm-hmm. It's just that I got a better voice, right? And I'm better. I've got a better stage presence, right? I can command a room quicker. I'm not shy. All those things that I bring to the table they don't have. If I say good evening and welcome, it should sound like it's them saying good evening and welcome, right? And it's time for their first dance. It should be them inviting everyone up, because if they could do it, they wouldn't need me. And if they could do it, they wouldn't need you. So that initial contact is really important. And then once we, as a group, myself and the bride and the groom, and maybe even the parents, decide that this is going to be a good fit for working together, then they have their expectations and I have mine. My expectations are we're going to get together. We're going to start out with, here are paper questionnaires. But the paper questionnaires are just to get their brains going. Sure. And then it's like, okay, you sent me one sheet. We're going to set up a day. We're going to do this on Zoom, or I'm going to come to your house or whatever. And we're going to go through that. And I'm going to ask you questions that might not even be on there, so I can start to understand why you said what you did. A perfect example is if they tell their best man and mention in there that they call it, his name is John, but they call him Sparky. Well, that's perfectly wonderful information that I can use. Here's John, or like we like to call him, Sparky. Mm-hmm. But if I don't know what's going on, or I can spend going, okay, so you call him Sparky? What's Sparky about? That's got to be a story. Tell me the story. I might not even use that story, but knowing it now means that when I speak, it sounds like I'm part of the group. I shouldn't sound like an outsider. That's one of the things that I think that the reason DJs get a bad rap is that for people to come to weddings, they feel like that we've just kind of been thrown into this really personal event. This happened, and there's been beautiful speeches and toasts, and they had a great meal, and everybody's been talking, and it feels like a big family event, and all of a sudden the DJ starts, and come on, man, let's just really go, which is what our job is, right? I mean, we think that's what they hired us to do, is to quit sitting and get up and dance. There are tricks you can do that too. Or if and when I have to do that, I am making an invitation now that they are willing and ready and excited to be a part of, because I'm speaking on their behalf. I am creating on their behalf. I'm not a painter showing up and saying, oh, you wanted a painting that will be over your couch, and it needs to be how long, and it needs to be what color? No, they've hired me because I'm a great painter that creates wonderful things, but I'm going to spend time with them so that when I paint for them, they're going to look up on their wall and say, wow, that's so much you guys.
But what happens when they just didn't realize the amount of and not money investment, but time investment or intellectual investment that they're going to have to put into that collaboration. And not because they want to, cut it short or do anything, but they just didn't realize. How do you introduce that without being overwhelming?
Well, the introduction really happens in the initial meeting. I don't hold anything back. I spend more time telling them about the reasons why they might not want to hire me, except for why they should. And when we're all done and they're really excited because they heard about me, and this is the reason people even call me is because they heard about me. So if they heard about me, they heard something like, he's amazing. Okay, great. So let's sit down. Are you amazing? Yes, of course I am. That's about as far as it can go. But in that, they're already excited about buying. So if I need them and that buy-in in the initial consultation before I even ask if we should work together or if they'd like to work together, it's like, now you need to understand that for me to be able to create what you heard was really amazing. It's not just you're hiring me and I'm showing up on the day of the wedding and you see me that day. No, you have work to do. You're working, I'm working, and I can't work off of just guessing. I could, but that's not why people hire me. So you're going to have homework, actual paperwork, sit down, work it out. We're going to have meetings where you're going to have to make time for me and I'm going to have to make time for you. You need to feel when you're all done that you've gotten everything you want from me, but at the same time, I'm going to need to get everything from you. And the only way you can stop me is to say, I don't want you to have that information. But I will tell you before you hire me, the reason I do so well is because I do get that information. Do I use it all? No. But my clients talk to me and write to me and send me Christmas cards 25, 30 years later because of this little 6 month to 1 year process of getting to know these people. And then this really amazing day that they want to never forget, they don't. And then they realize they've created a friend around this.
So
There's one reason you don't want to hire me. If you don't want that, we probably shouldn't be working together.
Okay, so let's. They've seen you before. They want that type of experience, but they're like, geez, Bill, do we really need to put that much time into? I mean, how can you
want that experience,
convey that A leads to B, and there's really no way to get to B without going through A type of thing? How?
Well, it's really just a straight conversation without being mean. Really, I mean, we really love what you did, and we really want this, but we don't want to do anything. Can you just show up and do that?
Right. That's what I mean. That's where I'm headed. Yeah.
No. I can show up and do, and you'll probably be happy because I'm pretty good at this. I've been doing it a long time. You throw me into a cold room with no information, I'm going to do better than most people because I've just been doing it long enough, right? And I'll tell them that. But if the reason we're talking is because what you saw is what you want, what you saw, I didn't make that up. I didn't make that up without them. You could call your friend who you saw me at the wedding. Talk to them about the process. It's not that difficult of a process, but it is a process of us, because you're going to answer questions. I've had people give me, and I'm just talking to you like I would talk to them. I've had people give me their questionnaires, and they give me one-line answers. Well, okay, but you get that I'm going to be calling you.
We're going to dig into this.
Enough, okay? If you want the kind of thing that you said that you liked and the reason you hired me, and especially since part of this too is the fact that the investment that people pay for on me is well significant above almost any other DJ in the country. And that's not because I bring lights, because I don't. I still don't bring lights. I bring a couple of cabinets and my rig. Okay, I bring my computer and my scripts, and that's it. If they want lights, I certainly have lights. It just costs them more money, and that's even more expensive, right? So that's another part of it. It's like, you're spending a lot of money to tell me you don't want me to do. I'm okay with that. Maybe. But even that becomes, well, now there's another conversation, right? I need to have with them along. It's like, okay, so you don't want to do any of that stuff, and you're okay if I don't do all the stuff your friend saw. Really? Are you sure about that? Because a guy showing up and playing really cool music for a dance, there are better DJs. There are. Call Jason Jani.
Yeah.
You probably can get him cheaper. Right? I mean, and he's a really good DJ. I'm a great DJ too. But I set it up, right? I stack the deck. All the information that I have and all the stuff I'm doing from the moment people arrive to the moment I ask people to dance, there's this entire thing that's happening. And I'm stacking the deck in my favor. Mm-hmm. They like me when they arrive, and they begin to like me even more. So by the time I say, hey, you should dance, they go, yeah, we should. So now I could be a bad DJ. I'm not. But I'm certainly not on the level of Skrillex or Jason Jani or any of those people, right? I do okay, and I know. But we also know that if the deck is stacked in our favor, you've heard the guy say, I could have farted in the microphone and everybody would have danced and thought it was great. Yeah, it's because you set the night up. They loved you before you played note one. They were excited about dancing because you convinced them that it was going to be fun.
Right.
You created this enrollment of agreement, and everyone's agreed that when you begin playing, they're going to dance. They're not just going to talk. They're not just going to go to the bar. They've agreed before you played the first note of music for the dance that they are going to dance. And all that stuff that happens and all this information that I have creates that. The dance now becomes secondary. Mm-hmm. What I'm creating is a story. I'm keeping the focus on the couple in such a way that the story unfolds for everyone. The story of how they arrive, and what they're experiencing as they arrive, and into cocktail hour there's a story, and from there into the dining there's a story, and what's happening and how they're watching it and how they're being affected by it. I am literally saying this is the story, and this is how you're going to feel about it, and this is how you're going to react to it. Which is what filmmakers do, which is what radio people do, which authors in their books do. And that's what the whole goal is. It's not to tell you a story, it's to have you feel a story and have you react the way they want you to, so that at the end you have this feeling that they have predicted ahead of time.
So let's talk about that story just a little bit. The elements of the story. You're talking that there's different stories in essence within the day, like scenes within a performance. I get that, but where did the inspiration for the parts of the story? Is it something that's driven completely by the bride and groom, or are you pulling in outside influences to create this?
I can pull in outside influences, but not without knowing the things that they're into, right? Because I mean, the format of a wedding and the story of a wedding is it's tried and true. Okay, we know what's going to happen. You go to a wedding, you know that there's going to be an arrival, there's going to be cocktails, there's going to be dining, there's going to be a dance. Within that, there's going to be speeches, there's going to be a first dance. There's going to be these things that are happened at almost every wedding. So you know that's already going to happen, and that format you can kind of play with now. The outside influences, I suppose, but I can create outside influences that have nothing to do with them, and it will fail. So when we talk about, when I talk about how the evening has a beginning and a middle and an end, okay? The end is the last song of the evening, beginning as they begin to arrive. In fact, it begins as they start driving into the parking lot. For them, the story begins when they get up, start getting dressed, and start talking about the wedding they're going to go to.
Sure.
How I'm going to affect them begins as they arrive, right? And we don't have to. In fact, for years I didn't. People arrived and I was still setting up, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
Or I had set up and I went away and the dance is not till 8, so I don't have to come back till 8. Well, coming up at 8 means now I need to kind of begin creating that agreement at 8 as opposed to earlier. The story itself, the beginning, the middle, and the end, the stories within the stories are the chapters, like you said, the scenes in a play, the scenes in a movie, or the chapters in a book. I talk about this in the workshop that I do. But for example, when they arrive, okay? People are arriving. What I can do immediately to affect the mood in the room is the music that I play. Now, the music that I play, I can choose without any help from the bride and the groom. Usually, Background music isn't something that people even give much thought to, unless thought is being given to it. But if I can sit with a couple and say, okay, so you're going to have a cocktail hour. You're not going to be there for it. No. Well, how do you want it to go? Well, I want people to get there and I want them to have some drinks and kind of get warmed up. Okay, great. Do you want them to feel something? I mean, how do you want them to feel? What's the vibe? You know, you can ask that specific question, but if I've also asked questions ahead of time about who they are, what they're into, what they're trying to share, why they're sharing this whole day, then I start to see that, well, they're very quiet people, but he's into jazz and she's into country, and they spend some time together out. And when they're out with their friends having drinks at the bar, it's usually at this bar and they play a lot of country music, but there's not a lot of dancing there, but they really like the cool groove of the thing. So I can in that meeting and start making suggestions. It's like, well, and if I'm off, they can go. I can say, well, tell me more about this bar. When is there a jukebox? Yeah. Well, what gets played? Oh, well, this and this and this. But I don't really like that. I really like this and this and this. Oh, well, for me, names of artists create a feeling. It does for them. So when they're talking about country music or slow country music, oftentimes it's the story itself. Country music is all about story, and the romantic music especially. It's slow country, and they want some kind of a romantic feel. They really love Thomas Rhett, and he's very emotional. So they want a kind of an emotional feel, but they don't really want it slow. They like the idea of kind of having something bouncy. I want it to feel kind of like you can see it in the way they talk to you. Mm-hmm. So now all I really have to do within the meeting is I can make suggestions. Well, you mean kind of like this? Well, yeah. What about this? Oh, well, this and this and this. I can create a playlist for you because I get that now. I know exactly what you're talking about. Or if you want, you can choose it for me. But normally, even if they do, I'm still going to sit down and go through those things with them.
Sure.
Why did you choose those things? Because people don't make playlists because they're thinking about that kind of stuff. They take out their Spotify and they find their songs that they groove to that they hardly pay attention to. And half the time, the Spotify is not going to work for what they're trying to do. So even that, I want to be sure that I'm laser focused. Right? Mm-hmm. And that laser focus starts to focus them, and now all of a sudden they're playing with me. The story. People arrive until cocktails or until dining begins. Within that, each person that walks in, their story is how do they feel when they arrive? Was it cold outside? And when it's cold, when they jump into the room, is it warm? Is it really warm? Okay, where are they going to put their coats? How are they going to feel about where they put their coats? What are they going to see right away? Is there going to be a certain color? Will the lights be low? Will there be a view of the river through huge windows? And is that reason why you hired and bought this place? Mm-hmm. You want that view? Do you like that view? As they step in, so if they want to see that immediately, and that's a feeling that you want them to have, where you might place the bar might not be the worst idea. Okay, how you place them in the room. We're really into hiking, and we've been hiking all of the greatest parks all over the United States, and we really want to share that, but we're not sure how to do that without telling a big long story about every hike that we went on. Well, then within your signage, maybe in how you name, instead of number your tables, you can name your tables, right? Yeah. You can put some signage out that has kind of a feel around that, or how you decorate your tables might just look like the parks that you like. It doesn't necessarily have to have names, okay? The feeling you get when you come into a room for that sort of thing. I've even reached out to company. There's a company out there whose name is escaping me right now that can give us a certain scent in the room.
Oh, yep, I remember that.
So if they want a certain scent is another one of those things about yourself that will bring out emotion as well. It'll make you immediately remember a thing. So if you want it to smell like a pine forest, or you want lavender, if you want it to smell, hey, we met in a chocolate factory and we really love the smell of chocolates and we want it to smell like, that's another place where you can immediately start to affect the story for the person arriving. What you say if you greet them at the door. I'm not necessarily one that thinks that I need to be the doorman, but a doorman at a facility, even at a VFW, standing outside, welcoming people and opening a door, puts an element into the event that is very specific.
Yes.
and can start a story for people just as they arrive with a big smile. Thanks for coming. Aren't you? Step inside. Right over here is cocktails. And that doesn't have to be me. But that helps to begin a story. That starts people who might have been bickering on the way there, right? Start coming up and they go, well, that was kind of cool. No, all of a sudden we've got them in the mood that we want them to begin.
Sure.
So that story is just within that, right? And they're all being affected by that story. You're not necessarily going to get people out of a bad mood all the time, but if I'm the first thing they see, my smile and how I'm explaining things to them, how I'm talking to them will get them to a place where the whole room has got this whole feeling right now. So that while the cocktails are happening, and I might step around and listen to what I'm hearing and might say a few things to a few people about what's coming up next. And then when I will invite people to dining, because that is the transition from the cocktails to dining. And now how I take the energy from that room and move it to the energy of what we want for dining is going to be very important. So the next question and the next group of questions is, what are you feeding them? Why are you feeding them that? What are you into? Why do you like this? What are you sharing with them? Are you just doing chicken? Or is there something about the chicken? Well, yeah, but we have a special dessert. Well, what's the dessert? Why did you meet the dessert? Where did you find the dessert? The wedding I did just this Saturday, they had 100 jars of homemade salsa. Now, all by itself, if I had to guess, okay, they're into Mexican food.
Yeah.
And they love Mexican food. So one of the things they're into is Mexican food. So come and get the salsa. That's my guess. Not a bad guess. But without the time spent asking the questions about salsa from the bride, from the groom, and from their parents, I wouldn't have known that for years, I mean, before the bride and groom were even born, the parents of the groom every year get their families and everyone in their neighborhood and their friends and their community get together and they make this homemade salsa from their farm. And they do it every year. And it's usually, and the base of people that do it are their specific family that grew out to the cousins, that grew out to the family of the cousins, that then grew out to the mayor of the town who was also there at the wedding. So to be able to say that a whole half of the people at the wedding for 2 weeks before the wedding all sat in a big kitchen and got messy making this wonderful salsa for you today that they've been making for 5 generations. That is a story it wasn't me, right? I can say, hey, they're into Mexican food. And they go, oh, he doesn't even know what's talking. I mean, yeah, man, it is kind of funny that he said that, but he doesn't know what's going on. But the fact that I knew that, and I didn't really explain it as much as I just did to you, but I explained it in such a way that everyone who knew that I knew. And everybody who didn't now felt inside of the story.
Sure.
So now I've drawn them into another piece of the story. And that's just one tiny piece of the story before we even do introductions. Be sure to grab those. Oh, they're signing bags boards as opposed to a guest book. Why? That's the number one question I ask. The number one question anybody should ask if they want to get this detailed is why not? Why don't you have a guest book? Oh, bags boards. Well, yeah, they're cool. Don't you think? Don't you like bags boards? I do. Why do you like them? Oh, well, yeah, it's a family thing, and actually, it's the groom. He loves this game. He doesn't play any other games. In fact, nobody can beat him. Okay, people come to our house and we have these bonfires, and it's a challenge that if he ever gets beat, he'll buy you drinks for the rest of the night. Nobody can beat the guy. Okay, that's just enough information to be able to say, well, y'all get why he has the bag sports. I mean, that's really cool, isn't it? Wouldn't you like to have bag sports? You know why he does, right? You know that later in the evening, if you get enough beers into him, if he sets the thing up, he'll probably challenge you to a game that you'll never win. That's all I had to say. Another level on the story, before we've even gotten into, so that when I do something as elaborate as an introduction of their wedding party, it isn't just, shut up, quit talking, pay attention, here's some great loud music, and here's the bride and the groom, and here's the best man and the maid of honor, which is what everybody sees, and the reason why they tune us all out. But if I've created and stacked the deck, in fact, into a place where they get that I get them, then when I do open the mic and say I'm going to do an introduction, I go, well, that's an introduction I want to hear. Because he's not just saying their names that he might mispronounce, which is I found over the last 15 years when I talk to brides, guests at the wedding party, they're like amazed that I don't mispronounce a name. It's like they're all waiting for the DJ to mispronounce a name, which is, if that's something if you really want to stand out, I've found out, you take the time to get to know the bride and groom in such a way that you can say Christmasik. It's not spelled Christmasik. It wouldn't look like Christmasik. I'd never be able to come up with Christmasik in the way they spelt it. But I found out from the couple. I wrote it out the way I needed to. I practiced it. So I said Christmasik. Even the young lady who I introduced was like, nobody gets my name. That'll set you apart. And that'll help set a story that people will follow because you actually care. There are tricks you can do to make it look like you care. But if you spend enough time and you do care, then there's very few things you can mess up that they won't forgive you for.
So, Bill, you've talked about different aspects of connecting using the stories of the couple as the main two to connect with the guests, really is what you've been kind of talking about recently. And you've also mentioned earlier about the agreement, getting the agreements so that people are going to be there when the dance floor opens. Tie those two together. How do you get the guests to, in essence, to that agreement point, or to agree with you that and be ready to go when the dance floor is open?
Well, the simplest answer is, if you go to hang out with your buddies at a bar or at a party where we all get together every Thursday, we all get together and we have a great time. And why do we always have a great time? Because Dave is there. Dave's that guy. If Dave's there, we're in, right? Because Dave, he's charming, he's funny, we want to play with him. He's always great, okay? And if Dave is leading us, we're going. In essence, what I'm creating is I'm Dave. But I have to start from, you don't know me. You've never met me. Okay, so that's why it's so important that if I do speak, it doesn't sound like just a maitre d' who stepped in and pretended like he knew the people in the room, and just because he was the loudest guy, he made the announcement. So when they begin to see me as Dave, the most charming, most fun, the guy who when he says go, we're gonna go. When he says we're all going in the lake, we're following Dave, right? So there is that agreement is what's happening. Okay, the agreement is that I'm Dave.
Right.
And I may not be Dave, but I also know by the time I'm spending with the couple, plus watching in the room, getting to know their parents. Their parents are a very important part too. Getting to know them because they oftentimes, they either are the Dave of their groups or they've invited Dave, right? So me knowing those people, also I get to see where the Daves are. I can also, if Dave, now I know that's Dave over there and that's Dave over there. Now all I got to do really, one of the first things I got to do is I got to get on this Dave and that Dave's good side. I'm like now working with Dave because Dave doesn't have a mic. And when I say we should go, Dave over there should go, yes, we should. Let's go, man. Let's go. Dave said we should do it. The agreement is when I say let's play, they say okay. And they won't do that just because I'm loud.
Right.
Just because I have a mic. It does help. Once again, the guy with the microphone is the most powerful person in the room. You can get the entire room to do exactly what you want every single time you ask them. If in fact the first time you ask them, you aren't just being a jerk, or if you're not just doing it because you think it would be fun to watch everybody hop on one leg. Because I can get an entire room to hop on one leg, but if I got no reason for it, the next time I ask them to hop on the other leg, they'll be like, fool me once, right? So that's the agreement. The agreement is that I'm the guy who's going to tell you. I'm the guy who's going to show you how to feel. I'm the guy that when it's time to everybody get on the dance floor because the bride and groom love you and that's what they would like, I'm not lying to you. I'm telling you the truth, and I know why you're here, which is not just to drink beer and eat food, but to make these people's lives better. and make this evening a great thing. So you're actually agreeing to be a part of the success of the evening, because they know that anybody can be, because you go to the party and they go to the regular bar where you go, and we always sing songs and we always dance, we always drink too much, but only when Dave's there. Because the rest of us are afraid to follow just anybody, right? And no one's going to step up and be Dave. So that's the master of ceremonies job. That's the DJ's job, really, is to step up and be Dave, but also know the people in the room. So that when I do, though, say, come on, let's party, they don't go, can you just shut up? I mean, turn it down. We're talking over here. That's when you know you're not Dave. Does that make sense?
The trust factor is an area I think a lot of people struggle with. To have built that trust, and I think at times we don't realize how important that is, especially as you say, they're trusting you to be maybe the only Dave in the room.
Right.
And I think it's too easy for us to just assume that trust is there because I have that microphone. And 10 of the two don't go together for a lot of people.
No, they don't. It is something that, I mean, once again, the microphone is a great tool. It will get their attention. It will make them go, oh, maybe you're Dave. But if you don't know anything, if all you are is loud, you don't feel what they're feeling. You can't tell when you open the mic that you've interrupted them. Mm-hmm. Right? A lot of us, especially when I first started, I know people do this because when I started, it was like, okay, I'm just trying to do it. Okay. And I just turn it up real loud and go, ladies and gentlemen, give me your attention, please. And then part of them will listen to it, part of them won't, right? Yeah. But I didn't really look around the room to find out, well, do they look like they're having fun? Where's their attention? Okay, can I ask that attention and be polite about it? Mm-hmm. Will they get that I'm asking, and I understand that I'm interrupting you, don't want to do that, but there is something I want to share with you? Even that in itself, that little thing said, creates trust, because they don't want to just, hey, shut up, I got something for you, right. Which is kind of what we're doing. If we don't, because you don't do that when you walk up to a table full of people.
Certainly not.
Even you go to a bar and there's 20 of your friends there. You don't walk up and the first thing you do is slam your and I go, shut up, everybody! I got something for you. You look around, everybody who's talking. So then all of a sudden you might, hey guys, can I have your attention? No, I know, but can I have your attention? We do that for our friends,
right?
And our friends like us for it. We don't think about that as DJs, because what we are as DJs, especially when we're first starting out, maybe in the first even the 10 years we're doing it, is we are just the loudest thing in the room. And we can lean on the fact that if we're loud enough, you'll hear me. But even that, and guys hate it when I say this, but even that will only give you once. And then the loudest thing in the room is just shut up.
Right.
You know how you're talking, the whole room is still talking? You know why they're doing it? Is because they're like going like this.
Yeah, you're a mosquito in the ear.
You're a mosquito. Like mm-hmm. I've always said this, you're a mosquito. Shut up. Now I'll just get louder because he's got nothing. Just blah, 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 blah. And then they get louder and they're not hearing, and all of a sudden they're not sitting down for dinner, and the bride and groom are like, can't you get him to sit? Well, apparently you can't, because you weren't even polite about it, right? You didn't even notice that maybe you were interrupting a conversation.
Yeah.
And there are lots of ways to create that trust. And a lot of it is not just, and some people say, well, just go around and introduce yourself and ask for requests. Yeah, that's one way. Or you could go around and introduce yourself and say, hey, how are you? What's your name? Do you know where your seat is? Oh, I'm Bill. I'm the MC. Yeah, no, I'm a DJ too. Yeah, that's going to be great. How many times I ask for requests when I walk around? 0. Mm-hmm. It isn't about that. Ask for a request, and that's just saying, I need one question for you. I got one answer for you, and then I walk around going, they like me because they gave me an answer. Mm-hmm. No. Who are you? Where'd you come from? Hey, nice shoes. Wow, look at that hat. Man, you look great tonight. Go around, and if I do that, but I can do that as they arrive, right? I can go around during cocktails and and let them know that, hey, have you picked up the place cards yet? You don't know about that? Oh, let me tell you about that. Well, it's this and this and this. And by the way, you guys look awesome tonight. Look at that jacket. Where did you get that jacket? Oh, I got it here and here and here. So do you know the bride? Oh, you know the groom. Oh, very cool. Thanks. Well, who are you? Usually I don't even tell them until they go, who are you?
Who are you? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm the DJ. I'm the MC. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no, how do they know you? Well, they hired me. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight. Well, you better play good music. I said, I'll do my best for you. I don't usually play good music, but we'll see.
We're hoping tonight's the first.
Right. There's lots of things that I can tell them without saying, I'm the DJ, so I must be asking about songs.
Mm-hmm.
The bride and groom are going around saying, hello, Mike and Dave and Sarah and Susan, lovely. Oh, I love you guys. Thanks for coming. They're not saying, nice to see you. You look great. Be sure you sign the guest book and put your card and your gift over there. Pick up your place card and it's time to get seated. They're not doing that. They're expecting someone else to do that. And believe it or not, most of the time, the facilities don't. Here's an opportunity for you to ingratiate yourself with some trust, because you are the person that knew what's next. You let them know where things are and how things are. And the bar, oh God. Oh, you haven't gotten to drink at the bar. Let me give you a little tip on the bar. You know how many times I did that even last week? It's like the ladies, I've been standing here for an hour. I don't work there. It's not my fault. So I say, hey, do me a favor. Just follow me over here. Step over here. You got a $20 bill? Take it out. Now just step into this spot where it looks like you're not supposed to be and wave it. And she did it, and she goes, oh, my God. I said, do you work here? I said, nope, that's just a trick I know. Go ahead and use that the rest of the night. Right? Not because I make note of these things or I have a little checklist of things that I'm going to say at every wedding, but because I'm just being a nice guy who likes being at weddings, who knows how to be friendly, and that I care that they're going to have a nice time. And I'm doing it on behalf of these two people that want nothing more than everyone to have the greatest night of their life. The pressure of that for them is crazy. Mm-hmm. And then they get there, and if they can drop that and just say, Aunt Mary, it's so nice to see you. They're going to talk about you for years anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of gone around the bend, I think, maybe, with the answer to your question.
A little bit with that, but I think we kind of got there. I want to actually take us a different direction. We're going to go a few more minutes here, gang. Unfortunately, we've had some issues with Jordan Marshall's video. We're going to run Jordan Marshall's video tomorrow night. It will go up at 9 o'clock Eastern. Tuesday night, it'll go up at 9 o'clock.
Not because
Eastern.
I'm talking too much, is it?
No. There's a technical issue with the
following
video.
me up here.
Yeah, Jordan would be following up, and we'd have cut it short a few minutes ago here, but unfortunately, his video, not tonight. Tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern, you guys will be able to watch that. We're going to stream it out, and then you guys will be able to we'll talk about it a little bit and such, and then after that, at 10 o'clock Eastern, there will be the Brian and Jay show tomorrow night, so you can catch those. When we're done tonight, we've got Howie in the chill room, and we'll talk more about that in just a few minutes. So,
okay.
But Bill, you talk about the different elements and different parts of it, and couples wanting their guests to have the greatest night of their life. This is going to be a party for everyone to remember, and then they're going to throw out some things that they want to have in that party, or as you're talking and learning more about them, and you're finding out their nuances, you're wanting to create things based around them or that reflect them and represent them. There's a brainstorming session going on. How do you handle brainstorming sessions when there's good ideas being thrown out and there's cringy ideas being thrown out? Let's talk about that for a couple minutes.
Okay, well, I think that's kind of a loaded question.
You're welcome.
Because cringy ideas, okay. If you really think you're going to offend these people because you told them, ooh, I don't know about that, then maybe you have the wrong client and you don't have their trust in the first place. And if you're afraid to say that to them, then you are now kind of hoping to guess, right? It's like the number one thing is, here's a list of songs we want played at our wedding reception. And the DJ doesn't say a word about them. And then for weeks, he complains to all his other DJ friends, like, can you see this list? This is awful. Nobody's going to dance to this crap. But they won't say that to the client. My question is, why not? Look, if you're going to, you're going to come to the best restaurant in town, and you came because my lobster bisque is the best, and you sit down and say, I want your lobster bisque, but I want you to put another 14 tablespoons of salt in it, the guy's not going to do that. And he's going to be able to say to you without being offensive, no, because you won't enjoy my lobster bisque. And I won't serve it to you because that would be bad. Now, if in fact you'd really like me to do that, I'll come to your table with the lobster bisque. I will take the salt and I'll do it in front of you. I will stir it and I will wait for you to tell me you don't like it. Okay? But I can't be responsible to serve you something that I know is wonderful, the reason you came here in the first place, and then give it to you on your recipe instead of mine. Same thing with a music list or with a cringy idea. Now, I've been able to take most cringy ideas and make them not so cringy, because a cringy idea once again, I'm pretty good at ingratiating myself with the room to be able to show the room that this is something special and fun and cute, and it's going to be wonderful. What example can I give you? About 10 years ago, the bride's parents, for a toast, there was a balcony that overlooked the dining area. So their goal was to go up and do a puppet show as a speech.
Okay.
Cringy idea. Okay. At a very classy, very elegant, $150 plate dinner, the groom's parents wanted to do a puppet show. So now the job for me is to, once again, if I'm going to introduce that, I'm going to work directly with them and talk about the script and how long it should be. I'm going to be able to introduce them so that everybody understands that this is the parents. And this is something that's very special to them, and they've been working on this for a while, as opposed to what in God's green earth
is that?
I had to use the F word at my wedding I did on Saturday. Now, that's a cringy thing to think about, but you know your client well enough. The reason I had to do it is because it was a quote, a direct quote from the mother of the groom. That happened during the proposal. So as much as I danced around it for a while after talking to the bride, the groom, and understanding how the story went, when I said the quote from the mom, everybody in the room, before I said it, were pretty much saying it already before I did.
They knew what was coming.
Because it was coming. Not because they knew her, but because, of course, you would say that in the situation that was created. Cringy idea is one way to say it. Bad idea? It's a bad idea. Well, why is it a bad idea? Well, I'll explain it to you. Without going into teaching them how DJing works, okay? I can say to them, oh, here's your music list, really? Okay, so how did you choose it? Well, I drive around the car, I hear a song, and I'd write it down. I say, okay, well, there's a difference between jamming to a car song and jamming to a song on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, the songs that you're choosing, there's a lot going on with why I choose what we do, and it's not because I want to hear it, but because I know this will make people dance. Like Scott was saying about the YMCA. Oh, I don't want to hear the YMCA. Don't play the chicken dance. I'm like, okay, but let's talk about that. What happens if your grandma comes up and wants to hear the YMCA? You know that she thinks she's requesting the newest, most hip song in the world, right? Do you want me to tell her no? Well, yeah, because it never works. I said, well, how about if I promised that if I played it for your grandma, that people wouldn't leave the dance floor and they would still have a good time? You can do that? I can. How can you do that? Well, once again, can't necessarily, give you a DJ lesson, but I've been doing this for over 30 years. I know when to play it, when not to play it. I know when it's going to work and when it's not going to work. And it's just years and years of experience. Now, I don't have to play the YMCA. I've heard it more times than you're ever going to hear it. I played it more times than you're ever going to hear it. So I'm okay. But there's going to be a moment that maybe it's necessary. Now, with that said, I can not play it, or I can put a circle around it, which means that if somebody that you care about wants to hear it, and I can find a way to make it work without hitting the dance floor, is that okay? Well, yeah. We just don't want to kill the dance floor. Usually that's what it is.
Sure, yeah.
Or they give me a song. The first time I had somebody request Dixieland Delight. I'm like, oh, good song for the dinner. No, that's a dance song. You got to play Dixieland Delight. Okay, I've never had anybody dance to that ever. I don't understand why you would. I mean, would you just like this song? And that's not going to work. I mean, what is it about the song? Why do you want to hear it? Once again, why? Well, it's a college thing. There's a specific college that they sing along to the song. They don't really dance to it. They just kind of hop and they clap and they jump around. But it's a big tune.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, would have never known that. Or if the first time I played a dance anywhere near Ohio and I had to play Hang On Sloopy. I love that song, but I've never got anybody to dance to it unless they're a bunch of Ohio State people. Right? Oh, hey, hi, oh. It's the why. Okay? And I've also had the couple who wanted to hear nothing but, it's going to be a weird thing to reference, but you remember in the Twin Cities there was a radio station called Cities 97.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Cities 97 played a lot of acoustic music, a lot of new age acoustic. They had a thing called Acoustic Sunrise, an acoustic sundown, where they played the songs that you like, but it mostly just kind of cool, chill music. And the bride and groom gave me enough music on a list of music from that radio station to fill the entire night.
Oh, boy.
And I sat with them a month before and I said, did you want dancing? Oh, yeah. We'd like to have dancing. I said, so you don't have any dancing music here. You got music where you sit with a glass of wine on the deck and watch the sun go down. You got a cool vibe. I like the music that you've chosen, but this is not going to get people dancing. Well, it'll get us to dance. I'm like, I got that. Anybody else? well, my friends. I said, how many friends? You mean your wedding party? Well, yeah, wedding party. So everybody in the wedding party. Well, not everybody in the wedding party. There's like 5, 6. So between the two of you and the other 6 people, the other 300 people at your wedding was going to be ignored. Are you okay with that? Because here's what I see. We play that for cocktails. We play it for dinner. I play it for dining or for dancing. And about 30 minutes to 45 minutes in, 99% of the people in the room are going to get their coats and go.
Right.
Now, I can do that for you. You are paying me to get whatever you want, but you're also paying me to tell you when I think you're making a mistake. The mistake would be is if you want a lot of dancing. You're not going to get a lot of dancing. Well, but that's okay. We really just want to share this really cool eclectic feel with everybody. And if they don't dance, we're okay. Oh, okay. So once again, my job is to express to everyone why this is going to happen and that we're going to lean into it for them. So I did. As the dance began, we had our first couple of spotlight dances, and I said, so the rest of the evening tonight, you're going to hear a lot of music you've never heard before. And the bride and groom have picked these songs out for you by hand to share with them because this music, it moves them. And they would like you to move. So we'd like you to grab some wine, get your favorite drink, enjoy the sunset because thankfully the sun was going down and there was a deck. Go out there and enjoy the sun and enjoy and come out and dance to it if you'd like. I know that they like to dance to it, but at the very least, they want you to feel the way they do. And I know you will. You guys can do that for us, can't you? Sure can. And we did. And 45 minutes into the dance, it was just me, the bride, the groom, and their 6 friends for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
This couple has given my name out more than any couple that I've ever worked for. And that wedding was 3, I think, years ago. And it was downtown St. Paul. It was a very hip, very cool, very expensive wedding. So, bad idea, I'm going to tell them. But I'm also going to say, I can give it to you. I'm okay being wrong. I just don't think I am. And if I am wrong, great. If I'm not, you can't be mad at me because I'm giving you what I know right now.
Yeah.
And that's with speeches. That's with music. That's with, I got a cool idea where I want to zip line into the room. I told you that one, right?
No.
The couple who, for the grand entrance, they wanted to zip line into the room.
Give me the 30-second
they met
version.
They were met in the gym with gravity boots, They were really fit, So they wanted to build this zip line where we hung them by their toes in the gravity boots. And ladies and gentlemen, here's Mike and Mary Johnson. And we push them into the room like, zip them, zew. Oh, they were really, really into this. And I'm like, well, here's a bunch of reasons why that's a bad idea. Yada, 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 yada. I said, well, but maybe, right? I'm like, well, maybe. I'll make a couple of calls for you, but there's several, more than a few people that are going to tell us this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
So I called the facility, and I said, well, we'd have to build something. We would have to talk about it. We'd have to bring in somebody to make sure it's going to be safe. I'll probably have to call the city inspector, make sure that's all going to work out. We did all those things, and it was, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. It would be a great idea. So all I had to do was say, you can't do that. I love you guys. But trust me when I tell you, we found a way to explain to the room that they had this really great introduction plan and had everybody go, oh my God, that would have been so damn. Because that's your job, right? It's not me making them look dumb or telling a joke out of school or saying something that makes it sound like I don't know what's going on. It's me doing the exact opposite. And that takes a lot of time. And then building the perfect evening is about when it happens, how it happens. And you need to be able to envision how that's going to happen. And then you need to be able to communicate that vision to them in such a way that they're excited about handing it over to you. And I can do that, but I've got years and years under my belt. And it's not just the DJing. Part of the reason I'm good at this is because of years and years of me being in theater.
Sure.
And being an actor and a director and a writer and a designer and a lighting person, all those things that come together to be able to design and take a puppet show and make it really cool, as opposed to nobody saw it and they were wondering why somebody had sock puppets at a wedding. By itself sounds really weird.
Yeah,
right?
that would be just a little bit weird. So
it's the narrative and the story, baby. That's what it is.
And it is the story. Well, gang, we're going to have to wrap things up. We are out of time. Again, tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Eastern, we will be airing the Jordan Marshall's segment from that would have been up tonight. We had an issue with the video file. So you'll see it tomorrow night, 9 o'clock tonight, after we're done here in about 5 minutes in the chill room, which is out at djntv.com/chill. About 20 seconds ahead of this, you saw the link pop up into the chat because we're about 20, there's that delay. So djntv.com/chill. Howie and the crew are going to be in there tonight. Go on in there and hang out and chat a little bit. Have some fun. That's a great way to be able to connect with DJs from literally around the world. Come into the chill room.
It really is.
And then tomorrow night, that same link will work for the Tuesday Night Music Show that Brian and Jay do, and Howie jumps in there with them.
Yes.
Where they talk music. It's a great time. Connect with other DJs, especially during these winter months where you're not going anywhere, you're not traveling, not doing gigs. Keep that sanity a little bit by just talking to your brothers and sisters in the industry. It's an important area for surely. Final thing, I want to just one more time, the djntv.com/subscribe. That's for the new print edition that's going to be coming out in February. It's going to be a quarterly subscription. Well, there's no subscription, just a quarterly publication, and it's a free subscription. So go there.
And it wasn't new. It was amazing. And now that it's new, it's going to be even better. So if you have not signed up for it, click on the link or just type it in djntv.com/subscribe and sign up for it. It's really, it's worth the clicks it's worth money, much less just clicking in and signing up. So do that.
Yeah, it should be very, very good. I'm really looking forward to that because I've got a great group of people who are really excited and passionate about helping others grow their business in this industry. So, Bill, thank you much, my friend, for being with me, and I'm looking forward to our next time in about 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
God, is it really?
Yeah, we're 2 weeks away. We'll be back again.
I got to do some Christmas shopping.
Yeah, you better start.
What did you want for Christmas, by the way?
Yeah, that same thing that you got me last year, but this time in blue.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
you got that.
I like the frillies. Those were just so much fun.
You sure you haven't gotten a little bigger? It might not fit.
No, I've actually been,
kind of tight. It binds.
I've been
it binds.
Doing my touchies.
Your touchies?
Thank you guys. Everyone, go have a good night. We'll catch you next time. Good night, everybody.